Okay, I'm glad that Belinda came by to remind me of this. We had the great snake incident at the courthouse several years ago. And she brought me a little, both a clipping and a little story. But anyway, the story is, in June 1996, during the Chimbui days, a reptile vendor had a booth over in the American Legion Park. I didn't remember the year, but I remember that. Anyway, the old boy had these snakes, and supposedly they weren't for sale, but he was maybe going to sell one, and the game warden noticed that he did not have the proper license, and the snake disappeared. Well, I knew he just sold the damn snake anyway and lied about it, so it didn't matter. And then the county attorney, Ben Neal, and I got to discussing how we didn't see any squirrels in the courthouse line anymore. And also we had a new preacher moved to the Methodist church, and her pet cat disappeared, and we got to notice there weren't any cats around. So 3 years later, in 1999, they were doing some work at the courthouse, and they went down and found the big snake. And according to the paper, it was 9 foot 8 inch long python. They found it on a Wednesday, and I was gone, and Dorothy Kerns had to take the picture, and she was terrified of snakes, and she told me how scared it made her. But anyway, she took the picture of these guys with this 9 foot 8 inch snake. And incidentally, they contacted the owner. The owner came back and got the snake, and I watched him put the snake in a sack right in front of the news office, and Dorothy watched a little further back. Dorothy watched also. He just let a little sack, he grabbed the snake and just loaded it in the sack, tied the top, and went home. Now then, I told Belinda that there was a better story about Dorothy and snakes. They had a rattlesnake roundup here years ago.
Oh, no.
And they stored the snakes in a little room we had back here at the news office, and a bunch of us came down one evening with the snake handler, and he showed us the snakes and gave a little demonstration and all that, and it terrified Dorothy. And the next day Dorothy came in, and I said, well, Dorothy, we were all drinking beer, and when we counted the snakes, there may be one missing.
No.
So be careful when you go in the back. And I just rock on. Every now and then I'd say, something looks like it's been moved around. I wonder if that snake's back there.
Oh,
Never
no.
said anything else. Don Zimmerman came by at noon one day when Dorothy was gone and showed me a giant bull snake he had caught. And I said, well, hide it in the back. So he put it in the back of the cage. So Don comes in the front door after Dorothy's here, and I said, Dorothy, I'm really worried about that snake. I know there are rattlesnakes back there somewhere. I got Don, he's a well-known snake catcher. He's going to go try to find that thing. Don goes back, fetches that snake.
Oh, God, I'm laughing so hard I'm shaking the camera.
He walks through the door from the back holding this snake like this. Dorothy is sitting at the computer over there. Dorothy screamed, hit the front glass door so bad I was afraid it would break. I went outside. Dorothy was still standing next to the street, screaming and jumping up and down.
Oh, poor
and I
thing.
swear I'd never do that again, because I don't know why she didn't have a heart attack then.
Well, poor
Anyway,
thing. Well, that is hilarious.
That's all I know about Dorothy and the snakes.